In space, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah.
Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I'm your fleet captain and host, Julian, right alongside the best bridge crew this side of the Nostromo, Vice Admiral Erik, who told us repeatedly not to go near those egg sacs. It was a bad idea
Don't
right
do
from
it.
the beginning.
Bad idea.
Yeah. Lieutenant Commander Hawk, who we last saw on sickbay complaining about some chest pain. And yeah, you might want to get that checked out, bud.
Why'd you look at the penis eggs? Why? The penis snake eggs.
And Captain Girafe, who is running around Deck 12 right now with a flamethrower. Welcome back.
Kill it with fire.
Kill it with fire. Welcome back and welcome aboard. How you guys doing?
Well,
Hot.
I knew you could
Hot.
only nuke it from orbit. That's the only way to be sure. I love aliens.
Hawk's got the background and everything.
I like
with
purple
nuke
lights, so,
and-
you know.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I should have worn my
man.
Nostromo shirt. Fuck.
You should have.
Oh, that would've been great.
Yeah. We're starting off with comedy because this is one hell of an episode. This week, we are not here to review the classic sci-fi film Alien, but damn, this week's episode really does pay homage to it, though, doesn't it, guys? Like,
Big time.
It's almost like shot for shot sometimes, which is good and bad. But
The only
anyway.
thing that would have made it better is if at the end they were saying, "Get to the chopper." You know, you got to add a
Just go
little bit
straight-
of that
a
predator.
little predator.
Little predator.
So I'm totally gonna be this person, but I have not watched the Alien movie.
Just watch the first two, then you'll
The
be
first
fine.
two.
It's like
Just the
it's a
first two.
weird blind spot. Like it's not that I don't want to watch them. It's just like it never happens.
Never came up.
The first
never
two,
came
and then
up.
the first predator. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, noted.
Actually, no. Predator 2. I love Predator 2.
I mean,
I guess.
anyway, this isn't a Predator podcast. It's not an Alien podcast. I mean, it might as well be with this episode, but we're talking Strange New Worlds. What happens when the Enterprise responds to a distress call from the USS? Am I going to get this right, Hawk? Peregrine?
Peregrine.
Yes, I got it
Peregrine.
right. Peregrine. What shocking and terrifying discovery, no pun intended, does Pike and his away team find on board? And what do we think about that big sacrifice at the end of the episode? We're going to break it all down, but first, Girafe, you've skirted it for like 2 weeks now. Your time is
More
up, my
than 2
friend.
weeks.
Maybe more than 2 weeks. You've somehow wiggled your way out of it. It is
Yeah.
it is your
Thanks
turn.
to Aaron. Thanks to
Yeah, it's
Aaron.
Aaron's fault. Let's thank our Patreon collective at the Ready Room level and above, please. Oh, and before you do that, I have another name that I was so busy today I forgot to update. So when you're done, I'll say the last name on there.
Okay. So thank you, dear patrons. Thanks to Simon Steger, Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Genstein. I'm gonna start messing up names. Here we go, like 4 into it. Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santos, Kangui, Haven, Takako Nagumo, Kara Kennedy, Mark, Fernanda Nogales, SMK, Ian Davis, Laura Linderman, Kowalian Night Spray, aka Reasonable Stranger,
Oh yeah.
Colleen Davidson, Susie, Jesse Desmond, Alan Davis, Chatterhand 2049, Jesco, MC Frodis, Maggie, Michael Graham, Alex Miller, Emily and Travis. We're only at half, guys. Stay with me. I'm kidding. Marian Roth, Cassie, Raul, Summer Ricci, Riker Tattoo twice. Chris, we know who you are. Maggie Light, and our 2 newest collective members, Wayne Ritz, Scone of Arc. That's actually 3.
It's 3.
Yeah.
And our 3 newest collective member, Wayne Ritz, Scone of Arc, and Sean.
Go on.
That's a screw up on me too, because we read them last week as well, but I straight up copy and pasted this and forgot to edit that specific part. So
Well,
that's my
you're
bad,
new
guys.
twice.
Yeah, well, you're new twice. And we have another new collective member at the Cerritos Lounge level. Welcome, Jay Howard. Thank you so much for becoming collective members. Your support rocks. We got a couple of bonus pods on there right now. You could watch our table read of Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad. That's on there right now. And also myself, Matt, and Karen recorded the first 4-episode review of the Orville New Horizons, and that's live for you right now as well. So check that out. Girafe, anything else going on Patreon coming up?
Oh, we're gonna have a new video posted next week. Yes,
I think it's next week.
next week, and the second Thursday of July, we're gonna have our patron collective happy hour, and it's gonna be the 14th of July, which is Bastille Day. So please make it French. And if you're around San Diego at the end of the month, please come see my panel about archaeology and paleontology in Star Trek. If you say hi, Giraffe, I'll give you a sticker.
I'll be there.
Okay.
I think that's it. Yeah? Everything? Good? Good? I guess we're just going right into this damn thing.
Let's go.
It is our review of episode 109 of Strange New Worlds, All Those Who Wander. Our order tonight is Hawk, Giraffe, Erik, followed by myself. Let's get into it. We get to distress call and the build to the Gorn. We know at the start of the episode, Enterprise is on the way to a little bit of a throwback cameo there, Deep Space K7 with very crucial supplies. But just like an Alien, they get rerouted, right? They get a distress call. They're all woken up. And Pike and an away team take a couple of shuttles and leave Enterprise behind. Eric's like, is that right? Am I mixing up Prometheus or am I mixing up
No,
one of the other
Aliens
movies?
2, they were looking for
Yep.
for it.
No. Aliens 2 or the first one?
The second one. The base was also
Oh,
they
okay.
needed
I mix up my
there was a
Alien
distress
movies.
thing for that too.
Yeah. So they take a couple of shuttles, and once on the planet, we see this amazing crashed. What did we figure out? The class of the ship was the
Sombra class.
Sombra class starship, which is what they called a Constitution class, basically with all the same
Refit?
parts. Well, it's all the same parts, but it's faster and it needs less crew. So, yeah,
The mini-me is what you're saying.
it's a mini-me, pretty much. So we figure out very early on the surface of the planet that it's the empty and dark corridors inside the ship, that something has gone just catastrophically wrong. Everything's gone to shit. What did we think about the build up to getting to where we eventually get to later in the episode?
So we go first.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, so the buildup was so well done. I really got to give a shout out to like both the writer and director this week, Davey Perez for the writing and Christopher J. Byrne, because they really nailed it. Even though we kind of know, like, it's a homage to Alien and all those other movies, and that it was still so much fun because of the tension that they built up. Frozen in a hospitable environment, although Hammer looked very, cozy as anything there. Crash ship, another landmark. Everything is just torn to crap. And the last recorded log of their captain was saying, "Don't come." She would tell people not to come here.
Don't come. We're probably dead.
Yeah, it was an amazing buildup. I loved it.
Can we appreciate the fact that we go from Spock like cleaning the dishes to blood everywhere in,
Everywhere.
like, 10 seconds basically. I knew it was gonna be like go to shit when basically there's like these two new crew member that get a name and a promotion. I was like, these guys are dead.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
You're so dead.
Cadet
Hey,
and a promotion.
yeah. Hey, what is his name? I don't remember the other guy.
The only thing that would have made it better is if someone was retiring the next day. Just would
Oh,
have
yeah.
been perfect. That would have been the
Absolutely.
three. The
That's
trifecta.
exactly what I said.
That was
when
that
I-
was
last day
that was
on
the
the job.
admiral. That was the admiral in the Orville coming out of retirement.
There was
I-
also this lingering shot on that one cadet. I can't remember her name, and that it was one lieutenant.
Chia.
It was, there was just a lingering shot on her with a worried look on
Like-
her face. And I was like, "You're gone."
Look at her face because she's gonna bite the dust in literally 10 seconds. So when it started like this, I was like, "Oh, some people are gonna die." I knew it was gonna be bad, and then like let's get the cadets for a last away mission. Like that's anytime it never goes right. Like why are they still doing this? Like leave the cadets alone. They want to go home.
It's like the seniors, right? Like seniors going on one last party before they graduate, and then they all just get fucking
and they
killed
also
by Jason or Freddy.
They
like,
split up the crew. They're like, yeah, you guys go
That's
off
a
over
good
there.
idea.
But
Yeah, they're like,
Why
oh,
not?
like it's like a crashed ship.
Yeah,
And
comms
they
aren't gonna
crashed
work. It's fine.
A wall ship, a wall ass ship. They crash it on a planet. Sure enough, no communication, no nothing.
No
Inhospitable,
transporters.
inhospitable as fuck. Let's take the kid, the captain, and let's tell Enterprise, like, go away. You can pick us up in
It's
like
fine.
5 days. Like,
It's
what
fine.
how is that a Starfleet protocol? Please tell me.
I mean, dude,
No.
when you're out in the wild and you're like on a 5-year mission and there's no comm buoys, that's just like fucking cowboy diplomacy. Captain Pike, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna lead. Una was probably like, you fucking kidding me again?
Yeah, but Uhura was like, oh, I'm so impatient to see my grandmother again. Ha! No, you're not. And then, they arrived, there's like blood everywhere. And, my first reaction would be, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get the fuck out of here. That's what we're going to do. Let's go back to the shuttle and play Galileo 7 for like 5 days, guys. Like, no, they're still going. So like the buildup was like so classic horror movie where everybody like takes a terrible decision that nobody would take in the real life. So I really liked it. I really liked the kind of like horror shot that you see, like the hand with the blood in the snow. So
Dude,
it was
they
just
straight up
missing
showed
like
a
a
head on the
yeah,
ready
Sam
room.
Raimi, Sam Raimi like on the floor, kind of like moving camera, and that would be like everything in.
Hi.
Hey.
This is my first note in this episode.
Fun fact time.
Fun fact. I like Aliens. I like Jurassic Park, and I like The Expanse, and we got all three with a bit of Predator with POV Gorn shots. Also, like when they first started landing is when they started using Dutch angles. I was like, well, shit is gonna go down. That things are gonna go really badly.
MC literally wrote that on Twitch. It was a Constitution class with a Dutch angle.
That's funny. Especially since the nacelles were falling off, so they were at a Dutch angle.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else watched this with surround sound, but the sound mix was so good.
No.
Like,
Dude.
as soon as they got to even just as they were landing, you're like, oh, you can just hear all the shit going down, and then just everything started going everywhere, and it was like watching Aliens for this episode. So they really built the sound design. Like, the sound designer for this episode is fucking amazing. What can I say that these two haven't said? Like, they built the tension really well, right? The production design for just even the planet when you're landing, and then when they actually land and you see it's all like jagged rocks, and like it looks like a freaking what are they, like a German expressionism land of
Terror
of
and
ice.
pain.
Exactly. So you knew shit was gonna go down, and like, oh my god, and the new alien, the design, like all the designs in this were just like spot on. Like, if they didn't just straight out rip off H.R. Geiger, I would have been fine. Like, they didn't need to, but there are little bits of that. Yeah. Other than that, the tension was great. I think they really sold it, the feeling of how the episode would go just in the first like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I love like everything about the formula for this episode is like straight up just a horror movie. Like, the episode starts off so happy-go-lucky, right? Like, oh, we're eating waffles and we're giving out promotions, and Captain Pike's giving pats on the back and handing the apron to Spock, and yeah, like it's just like hunky-dory. And then Lon's even smiling, and then boom, shit's going down. There's heads rolling literally on the ground, and Erik, you were talking about the sound design, like the set design also. Like, I will not stress this enough. What they've been able to do, whether it's this show, The Mandalorian, like what have you, with the AR wall is just fucking stupid in a good way. Like, it's so incredible. And I saw a comment on Twitter today saying, well, I really find the AR wall like unconvincing, and I can tell where it ends. I'm like,
Ooh.
Can you? Because I can't.
There are times I can
Like,
tell, but it's not bad.
Yeah, no, like suspension of disbelief too. Like, I thought they did a good job. As far as the build up, I think the build up goes a little bit into going on the ship, so I'll talk about that too. I love how that is all of the sets of the Enterprise, right? Like, those are all the Enterprise sets, but redressed to make it look like a completely different ship and in shambles with all these like dark tones. And I thought that was great. Like, it's just, it looked so cool. It looked so scary. Yeah, the build up was fantastic. And again, surround sound is like, viewer discretion advised, right? Like, I had goosebumps like the entire time.
I started watching this with my daughter, and then she was like, "Mm-mm." I was like, that's fair.
Same thing.
You can go.
Cecily, I was like, Cecily, this is a scary episode. I don't know. Like, Girafe was texting me and was like, oh my God, like, I had to stop for 10 minutes because, like, the scare. And I told that to Cecily, and I was like, you're not going to like this episode. I was like, I'll just close my eyes at the scary parts. I'm like, the whole episode is scary.
It's more the gross that made me like, I don't
Yeah.
like gross. Like, I'm
Yeah.
okay with scary blood, but like when it started like to be like gooey and slimy, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go grab a drink.
I have to read a couple of comments on Twitch. One from MC. The poor ensign was promoted to lieutenant, was transferring to the USS Live Forever. Love that. And then Yum Yum Pod. Where'd it go? Writes Hemmer. Hemmer was one day from retirement. Hemmer just paid off his mortgage. Hemmer was waiting for his nephew Peter. He was the guy one day away from retirement. Anyway, let's get into the birth, the freaky ass birth of the Gorn crew emotions.
God.
And then the hunt. Not them hunting the Gorn hunting them. Yeah, unfortunately, poor Buckley, the alien they come across, who La'an thinks that like Uhura could just translate out of fucking thin air, got infected with Gorn eggs. Literally like a scene right out of Alien, like heavy breathing, dude's not feeling well. Poor cadet's like, you all right there, buddy? You doing okay? And then boom, chestburster season, baby. It's happening. Chapel does the thing that anybody in a horror movie should do and goes and fucking hides and puts a force field around herself, thank God. Though why she would ever turn that thing off.
Exactly.
Horror movie 101, people.
Stay
Come
there.
on, man. Oh my God. Galaxy Star Queen writes, I can't do Gorn eggs. This episode did something about Gorn eggs, but they were freaky, so I get what she's trying to say. Like
she
the
hides
veins. The veins.
Throbbing.
The poor cadet who is going to go back to Earth with Uhura, she's done. Sam Kirk starts to lose his shit and become a bit of an asshole, and La'an just straight up like wants to hunt, right? She's like, I just want to fucking kill them all. Like, let's go right now. If this episode wasn't pure horror before, it so became that after these moments. How did you guys feel watching the series of events of the birth and them like chasing and like the almost like the predator view that they have, and then obviously like the look of the baby Gorn Hawk?
So first up, like shout out to the production designers for Buckley. Buckley was again, one of his makeup and effects were great. Like you could obviously tell a little bit where they did the CGI, but I'm so glad they stick with mostly with practical effects for alien makeup and that, because it just adds so much more, especially with with their constant use of like handheld lights and that flashing around and that, and just seeing that was great. The med bay scene and that with all the bursting out, that was totally out of Aliens.
So much
with Ridley and Newt and that, and the face huggers that escaped and that, and her just looking around, the little skitterings. Oh my God, yes. And why she can't.
I would take Gorn face huggers, man. That would be.
And the way that everybody kind of starts breaking down almost immediately when they realize the threat that they're under, and that Sam Kirk doing his little I guess filling in for Bones and that. You pointy-eared computer, huh?
I don't know what the hell is going on.
What was that impersonation?
That was Bones, I think, right?
That was Bones mixed with Kirk.
No, that was definitely what he said to
He did say
Spock
that,
in this episode. And that, but of course he just starts freaking out, going,
Game over, man. Game over.
Why don't you put her in charge, man? Girafe doesn't get these. Girafe, do a double.
What's going on?
Double feature.
Do a double feature this weekend of Alien and Aliens, and you will thank us for it.
Cool.
What else? Oh, and Spock. Yeah, Spock. Like you could see, like he was definitely experiencing things that he wasn't really, used to, and that looking at the blood on his hands and that after poor Duke got carried away. I'm like,
Duke, that's his name, Duke.
Yeah,
Duke. Yes.
Lieutenant Duke.
The Duke of Nothing.
Rest in peace, Duke.
Yeah, in pieces.
Yeah.
Like I was
That
so
scream was pretty horrifying.
I was so confused about what was happening because those like little baby Gorns and that, like, you know, and he was being
What
dragged down a
drags him
hallway.
away? Yeah.
Dude,
They're
those
very
little
strong.
shits are strong. They're so strong.
But shout out with Ethan Peck this week, and he, you know, that was a new level for Spock. You know, like as far as like, you know, a guy who with no emotions able to convey like emotion like pretty well. But you know, just through that look in his eyes. Yeah. Giraffe.
Yeah, I wait, Buckley was awesome. I really first I like the name. I want like all the alien they meet to be like Gerald, Buckley, I don't know, like random names.
Benedict,
Poor Buckley.
George.
I have George. I'm gonna pet it and I'm gonna call it George.
George.
Love him and pet him and call him George.
So- which is a reference to Of Mice and Men, by the way.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is.
Uh, and I have to say that Chapel was the only one being smart in that whole thing. Like, they're so useless. Like, poor Duke is like having a thing, like eating his neck,
They
and
all
they
have
just like
phasers. They all have
they
phasers.
all have phasers, and they're all looking at him. Let's shoot the damn thing. Like, at least kill. Okay, you know what? If something is eating me alive, fucking shoot me.
Jean-Luc
like-
Picard, man. He knows what he's doing.
Exactly. In First Contact,
Yep.
shot the guy.
They could have
Can
shot him
suffer.
in
No.
stun, and then just stun the rest of
Yeah.
them, right?
Yeah.
I don't-
And they're like,
I don't-
don't move. And they just like, these three guys are just like looking poor Duke getting like dragged away. And like, we have
Poor
Spock
Duke.
who is like
Dook, dook, dook.
literally hit a dude through the bridge like 2 episodes ago and cannot hold Duke for a second. Like, get out of here.
I think the word you're looking for is yeeted a dude. Yeeted
Yeah.
a dude. Yeah, he yeeted
That's
him.
not what I said.
No, you
No?
said through. You said through. I mean, a throw is
Alright.
the same thing, but I really like yeet.
So yeah, they're kind of like all useless. And like the poor ensign in the sick bay, like she sees like all the goo go down. She's like, "Are you okay?" No, he's not okay. Get the fuck out of here. Like, they're all, for people that go explore space, they're really like, they have very bad survival instinct. But like Chapel was like, "Yeah, I'm out." Though that shot of her foot going down was like absolutely terrifying. It's like, stay there. Where are you going? Anyway, baby Gorn. I'm a bit disappointed by the Gorn look. A little bit. I know they're babies. I know they're babies. So I don't know. They're gonna change most probably, but they don't convey the fact that they're intelligent.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
I feel like
Like,
at this
it's
point
very-
they're not intelligent. Like they're still feral.
But they understand La'an. La'an talks to them.
Yeah,
Mm,
La'an
that's
said
fair.
La'an said in sickbay that even at this point, this young, they're highly intelligent. She says
Yeah.
it. So
They're,
And-
they're it's
I
like
don't
it's
know.
almost
It's like a
like
velociraptor.
yeah.
I like
okay,
Jurassic
that's
Park.
good. Yeah, okay.
I was what it reminded me of. I was watching. I've been on a Deep Space Nine run on that, and I'm on season 3 on that. Do you remember? Do anybody remember the episode where they found the baby Jem'Hadar?
Yes.
all his-
yes.
All his instincts are just pre-programmed into his DNA
Yep.
and that. And I feel like with the Gorn, that's exactly what it is. And that even though they're like little feral babies and that, they're still like just pre-programmed to dominate, hunt.
I still think it would have been more terrifying.
Yeah.
Because like right now it's a little bit like Velociraptor, like clever girl, you know.
Okay.
And
They hunt their
sure,
backs.
it's it's Delta.
Said the good
So-
Jurassic Parks.
Listen,
That's right,
they're
world.
all they're all bad for Jurassic Park, but I still love all the Jurassic Parks, especially the one that where San Diego gets destroyed by a T-Rex. I think it's the
Number
third
two.
one.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
That movie is fucking garbage.
It's better
Yeah,
than
but-
the second world.
Oh,
And apparently the third world. Anyway.
So I did like the hunt, but I think it would have been scarier. It's scarier when you know it's an intelligent life form that could
Mhm.
understand that you're intelligent too, and they're still wanting to eat you. I think that's what is terrifying about the Gorn.
Mhm.
And that was missing a little bit. They were just like, And
It would have been cool because we see them grow in size, to grow in intelligence as they grew in size. Like that would have been awesome.
And please, none of these fuckers are running faster than a Gorn. Like, have you seen how they run?
Dude, and they have 4 legs. Like they're gonna outrun you. Yeah.
It's like the Jack Sparrow run in like corridors.
That's amazing.
Spaceship. And, like there's a Gorn literally running on the walls, and you make me think that they run faster than them. Yeah, no, I don't buy this.
Jack Sparrow run.
Oh god.
Me?
Erik.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Erik.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go now.
Yeah, so I thought the build up to the Chestburster scene was amazing because they went from like heavy breathing, like we were saying, and really close shots of like and out of focus shots of Buckley just like losing it, and you can see that something is wrong. And not only do we get the heavy breathing, we get the pulsing veins with the little bubbles under it, which are just so fucking gross.
By the way,
Yeah.
Nurse Chapel reaction is like every nurse reaction when they see something gross, like, ooh,
Yep.
what is that?
Let's do a physical.
Let's poke
look
at it a
further.
couple times. Does it? Yeah, weird. And then we see the group, like Josh said, like that was a great shot of Chia. I keep on thinking Chia on the floor, just with the goop just coming down, and it's that good viscosity where it's just like a slow sort of like drip, and it's so gross. And then the burst, and like it wasn't just one burst; it was like a very violent back burst that just it's going out his spine. That guy's dead. And then the fall down. I wish I could really see Chia getting killed like that.
I agree.
It
As
just sort
fucked
of,
up as
I
that
thought
is,
she
yeah.
fell over, and I was like, "Oh, that sucks." And then I was like, "Oh, she dead." But
Yeah, and she was still twitching too.
I think one of the impression
back
I got
one came out.
One of them got onto her, just like probably burrowed its way into her neck.
yeah.
Ugh.
I think the best part of this chest burster scene was having the two pop out at the end and one killing the other one immediately. Like that
was so
showed how good or at how violent they were as a species. Like again, intelligence growing throughout the mission would have been amazing to see, but unfortunately we didn't see that. Chapel, again, like everyone said, why'd you turn down that
I just would have been there
field?
the entire
Why?
time.
Why?
Yeah.
Again, also to build to the tension, I love that Oriana went on a sickbed and just like covered her mouth like Newt hiding from aliens. I was like, oh fuck,
Right out
man,
of it. Yep.
it's so good. La'an went full Sigourney Weaver in this episode, and it was great. And even when she started to like relate to Oriana, like she had that talk about with Mabenga about how she's the only one that could really relate to this child. Like you see that. You see that Ripley and Newt moment there, and I thought it was.
They both kind of played on that whole Ripley Newt thing, and that and Benga when he just like said, don't speak to my daughter like that, and he's like, oh boy.
Well, especially after what he just experienced. Right?
Yeah,
It's
I'm
just,
glad they didn't just sort of gloss over it, that it's still affecting him, even how many days after that or weeks after this had happened. Let's see, did I miss anything? Pure heart. Yeah, this was like as soon as the shit went down, it just went fully to shit. Kirk being Bones-esque racist was phenomenal to see that, to show that they're Starfleet and they're professional, but even tense situations like this can really freak out a seasoned Starfleet member. I thought that was really cool.
Wait, I'm the only one finding this like very weird. Like he's a xenobiologist, he's a Starfleet officer, he worked with Vulcans.
But Gorns
he
are also like
knows Spock.
Gorns are like those mysterious things that just randomly kill people. Like no one has really seen them, so for him to experience that's got to be some freaky
It was
shit.
very
Literal
like
shit
it
out of
was like
nightmares,
it
yeah.
was very like Jim Kirk in 09. You have
Yeah,
no
no, it
feeling,
was.
your
It
mother
was.
is dead. It's like,
It'd be like
Jesus.
someone finding out that they're a djinn when djinns were part of their nightmares.
Nice Miss Marvel reference there.
Hey. But yeah, and I was disappointed that Pike didn't like tell him to shut the fuck up, and then this was inadmissible thing to say. Like he just like, hey, let's focus on the problem, dude.
I think he knew he had to release some of that so that he could actually start calming down.
Okay, come on. Like
I
if
don't
somebody is stressed and comes at you and like tells you racist stuff and then like goes, I was stressed. No, I'm sorry. When I'm stressed, I don't go full on racist to the person next to me with
Mhm.
my boss, by the way, because Spock is his boss. Spock is Sam Kirk's boss, like technically, and it just like, no, I know you're stressed, but that's kind of fucking out of line, man. Like, you don't say things like this. That's
Mhm.
weird.
I think they wanted that that character like in because they are basing this off of Aliens so much. They wanted that one person who's sort of been he hasn't been tough. He hasn't even been smart. I don't know where they were going with him, but they wanted him to be the one that freaked out. And you got to have that. What was his name in Aliens?
Which one?
The game over, man, game over.
I don't remember his
Bill
name.
Paxton's
Bill
character.
Paxton's character. They wanted him to be that character. Like that's the reason why
Hicks.
he was Hicks. No, Hicks was Michael Biehn.
No.
Yeah.
I thought Bill Paxton was Hicks.
Nope, Michael Biehn.
Everybody's
Oh.
saying Hicks on the chat. Hicks.
No, that's
I've
not
not
right.
seen the movie, so I don't know.
I'm going on IMDb. I'm done.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna weigh in on the Sam
Nope, you're
Kirk
right.
thing.
It was Michael Biehn.
Oh.
Who was Bill Paxton?
What?
Because on one hand, I get what Eric's saying, and that was my first thought, both watching it both
Hudson.
both times. Hudson
Damn straight.
is that like you literally just saw someone ripped to shreds. We know what happened in sickbay. We know that these things could just come out of fucking nowhere and eat you. I was saying in the chat earlier, we were having a long discussion about this, that like I would probably have like a panic attack or a heart attack before I even like had stupid shit come out of my mouth. I understand saying stupid shit. Yeah, it's racist, and that's definitely a problem with the whole pointy eared thing.
Yeah.
At the same time, I get like the adrenaline panic of something's gonna literally like eat your eyeballs out. So I get it. What I don't like about it is that like I know Alex Kurtzman at this point is just like the god of Star Trek, for lack of a better term, but like I feel like they can't help themselves sometimes with like the little Kelvin references. Like this was straight out of In a Darkness when they redo like Khan and with Jim dying instead of Spock, and this was literally like almost line for line when Kirk is trying to get an emotional response to kick Spock off the bridge. I'm like,
In
you could've-
09, yeah.
yeah, in 09, you could have had Sam say any other thing to him and portray being scared out of your fucking mind. Like it's a horror movie. I get it. So to say what he said and do it like line for line was a little off. Do I have a problem with the scene? No. Like this happens in horror movies all the time. Was the dialogue bad? Yes.
It was also they also did this in Balance of Terror. When it's
Yeah,
Spock.
and
Yep.
Kirk
Kirk
reacts
shuts
like,
it
get
down.
out,
Yep.
get out of
yeah,
my bridge.
There's no place for bigotry on my bridge,
Yeah.
mister.
Not like, hey, let's like do that later. No, you
I
don't
watched
do
it
that
again.
later.
I watched it again, and Pike does yell. He's like, "Whoa!" Like, shut it down.
Yeah.
So he does yell. Did you need to say something else? Yeah, Girafe, I agree. He should have been like, "Yo, like
Take a walk.
Out of
That's
line.
fucking
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with the stupid dumb bitch ensign on the Orville being a fucking shit.
Absolutely.
I hate
Dude,
her
she's
so
still
much.
here.
Still
Like, she's
here.
still here.
I've
Like,
only
giving advice to people. It's like, don't talk to people. Get out.
Yeah.
I texted Hawk about that. I was like, why is she still like this? It's like 4 episodes in.
It's bad.
It's your character's first season on a show and it's like
Everybody hate her.
Everybody hates.
Yeah,
Congrats!
yeah.
Everybody hates you. I really liked the chest bursting scene. I mean, as much as you can like. So, like, I'm a huge horror fan, so like, I dig that shit. Duke getting dragged away is just full on epic horror beautifulness. I love La'an being the soldier here and being like, I just want to fucking kill them all, but I need to get everybody to safety. I just like I love that. The Gorn design. I'm gonna hold my critique until season 2 when we see them again, because
I feel like they're still a work in progress.
They
right?
are a work in progress. And that being said, hat tip to the not CG artists, the fucking puppeteers, because that was all puppetry.
Was
And
it?
It was.
That's
They used CG.
amazing.
They used CG to remove everybody else. That was all puppetry. So
That's cool.
awesome.
All right,
Well
cool.
done. Anything? Is there any good comments in the Twitch? I mean, they're always good. MC Race, they were trying too hard to push the Spock emotions plot like it hasn't been the only spot. Oh, I almost called him Spike again. Spock plot this season has had this season. Yeah, I agree.
And it's kind of like they forgot Discovery season 2 because we've seen Spock having like mental problems,
Problems, but not straight up anger, right? Like, dude, he punches a freaking table in front of his sister in Discovery does?
2. Yeah, he
Is that
whacks
during-
like a wall, like
during the
chest
chess.
thing. Yeah, and he's like, I like anger, and like Michael is just like
Okay,
not
good point. I
flinching
forgot
and
But
being
he's
like,
more guarded in this, like since he's been at that point, right? Hasn't he
I
tried to
don't know.
become more Vulcan-y for his betrothed?
no, oh yeah, maybe he's
Yeah.
like
I
in
also
season 2
always
he
just
was just
look at it
emo
like-
Spock.
Yeah, he's emo
they
Spock.
they suppress all of this on purpose, so to like willfully let the emotion of like rage in, so like you don't get eaten by a Gorn. I understand Rage Spock. Do they need to keep Rage Spock going? No.
There was a good
No.
callback to Amok Time, though. I don't know if you
Mhm.
noticed it at the end with the fist. So there's like the exact same shot in
Oh.
Amok Time. He has like his fist like this in his back, and Kirk is looking at him like being like the fuck. And in during the funeral, he has like the same like fist, and Shepard is like the fuck. Yeah. So I thought there was like nice thing. It was just missing him throwing soup at Chapel's face, and that was like the exact same scene.
Riftwood writes, I think they could have made it a scarier hunt if this was a 2-part episode. This would have been a good 2-parter, I think.
It would have been.
Then they could have been very creepy and set up traps to catch all the Jack Sparrows on the ship. Yeah. Wayner writes, at what age do Gorn start wearing clothes? Or, is that just for hand-to-hand combat? We haven't gotten that yet.
They need to do one of those close-up montages where they're about to fight and they suit up.
And they put on the really bad eyes, like
Yeah,
the aluminum
just so they can
foil
see better.
eyes. Yeah.
It's the goggles.
glasses, the glasses.
The goggles.
This is a species that really just defies a lot of concepts. I mean, at what point do they get out of like this kind of this kind of independent like hunting animal mentality and start developing warp drives?
Yeah, because like you need like to be a group to be able to pilot ships.
I wonder if they're like turtles and they go back
Shits.
for their young.
How did the Gorn shit? Shits.
In the woods.
In the woods. In the woods. I want to say, I think someone wait, Girafe, was this when we were texting? That it's maybe I was having this conversation with someone else that like maybe the Gorn are a little bit like the Borg Collective, that they have like a hive mind, so it's just like kind of like
I think
immediate.
we're talking about
Yeah.
but they're still lizards. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of weird. Like how do they go from murdering each other and bursting out of people to having spaceships? Like I don't understand. I mean, why not?
We'll
and that's
find
why
out.
they
Maybe it's
should
like
have been
300.
more intelligent.
Yeah.
Just the best of the best.
Let's move on to setting the trap to get the last Gorn, because we know that the 2 final Gorn had a fight for dominance. I would have liked to see that.
Yes.
A little bit of puppet on puppet Gorn
Yes.
action.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Puppet on puppet.
Sorry.
Like Avenue Q.
We find out that the Gorn do not do cold. Don't like it. Not fun. Bad. As all reptiles, they like heat lamps. So the idea is to use La'an as a bait to lure one into the cargo bay and then just like bombard it with coolant from the starship. Really reminiscent of like some of the best sci-fi horror, like once again trying to trap the alien or the predator or whatever the fuck alien or Freddy Krueger or Jason or which Leatherface is trying to get you. Did the plan and the trap angle work for you guys? Would you like to see something else, or did it do it for you?
It worked for me. Like I love the whole thing where they're just trying to break down exactly why these things escape their sensors and that why they couldn't even detect it and that, and them finding out their basic DNA is designed to avoid sensors. And they obviously figuring out
Hawk,
this
sorry,
Yo.
sensors.
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 Continue.
Sensors.
I don't know what this means.
Sensors.
Sensors.
Not sensors. Sensors.
Sensors.
Sensors. We've confused Hawk.
You pointy ear computers. What are you doing? No, sorry. But yeah, breaking down who their enemy was and what they could do to even develop a trap for creatures that hunt instinctively, like from birth.
Yeah.
It was great. I love the bit at the end with Leon jumping into the thing and then hitting it with the nitrogen. That was, that was very reminiscent of the first Alien with Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
You remember? Yeah. I don't want to spoil any of this for Giraffe's double.
I mean, it's like a 20-year-old movie or
Oh
something
my god,
like
it's
this.
like
It's
an
older.
movie.
Almost
40,
40,
42, 42, 79.
79.
Yeah.
Yep.
43.
Oh yeah,
79.
It's older than me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And it still
Nice.
looks great.
I had all the
By the
Ripley toys. I had like the flamethrower Ripley, like in her mech suit.
Yeah.
So boss.
So good. Anyways, yeah, the whole trap thing worked for me in that, obviously they needed a way to defeat them, but it worked for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like the cold thing that made sense, and that made sense that the crew of the Peregrine was trying to like get them out and
Yep.
succeeded because they succeeded with the previous Gorns, right?
Yep.
So if they didn't do that, they would have been adult
Fucked.
Gorn
They would have been fucked, is what you're trying to say.
like around, like stealing the ship and stuff. So the cold made very good sense. I really liked it. The only thing again is like how are they all running faster than them is beyond me. When like Lon jumps in the box and close the things, like there's no way you do that faster than
Wait, you don't
Velociraptor.
remember those Disco season 1 running montages? It's like cardio all day on that ship. Like, come on.
I like that Disco went from like running montages to everything slow-mo in 4 seasons. 4 seasons.
Yeah.
4 seasons. They just walk slow motion now. That's what they do. So I did like, and I loved when Lan got out because when I saw it first, like, oh, I'd smash his face with my boot, and that's exactly what she does. Like the Gorn popsicle. No, very
Gornsicle.
smart, but a warpsicle,
Gornsicle.
a Gornsicle.
Gornsicle.
It's still creamy in the middle.
Oh.
Yeah.
gross.
No.
CBS, speak
Get
it.
off my bridge.
No, I think it made sense. They managed to have the ship working so they could close the door, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's a nice horror trope that they did well and it worked, except that nobody runs that fast. But that, yeah.
A great comment in the chat. Sartuga writes, how do they run that fast? The same way Leia ran faster than her kidnappers in Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
It was uneven terrain.
Uneven terrain, goddammit.
Fine.
Uneven terrain.
Oh my god.
Also, if
Obi-Wan
you're led by
rocks.
needles, of course you're not going to catch Princess Leia.
It's all
Okay.
it's all the carpets, in the corridors. That's what
Well,
helps
yeah,
them. Like,
exactly.
I don't even remember who's up. Is it
It's
you,
me.
Giraffe, Reese?
It's-
Eric? Go ahead.
Wait, it's me? Yeah, okay.
yeah.
I thought it was a fun nice little horror trope to do this trap. The writer of this episode, Davey Perez, also did Memento Mori, so it felt really in line with that episode.
Yes.
And he was also a story writer and executive story writer for Supernatural, so he knows how to do horror.
Nice.
He was there for a number of years. I like the idea that we see that the little girl went to a cold section of the ship so that the Gorn wouldn't go there, and they're like, oh yeah, that's smart, and they build upon that as the plan. I thought that was a really cool little thing. Newt didn't do anything.
Why
Why
did they put
didn't
her in
she say-
charge?
Why did she say, like, tell to the crew, let's go to the cold place, guys?
But they
Dude,
wanted,
she was in it to survive on her own.
yeah, it was
Like,
just survive. It wasn't
not a
they-
good plan because she could have
Yeah.
gotten off the planet via shuttle, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Trust
know.
issues when everybody dies around you.
Yeah.
I can't believe the Orion just, like, blew up the freaking warp core. Just like,
She's like,
Hey.
fucking done.
fuck you, and you, and you, and you, and
You're
you.
cool.
Everybody's going down with me.
Other than that, I like that they needed Spock to unleash a little bit of the anger to get the Gorn to move forward. That was cool, and to have that permeate throughout the episode. And we see a little bit more of the human side, which is really part of his character growth for the season. Other than that, the ending was really good
we're
and
good.
sad, and I like
Yeah.
that popsicle, man. That was amazing. Like
that was so cool.
That Gorn popsicle.
yeah.
Gornsicle t-shirts.
Or just
Gornsicle.
that's the number one summer treat for kids.
Can we somehow make Gornsicle ice creams? Because that would be like merch of the century.
Yeah, we need a
That's
popsicle
not
making machine.
complicated.
No, it's not
somebody
that
somebody
complicated.
needs to like
Make a silicone
sculpt
mold.
a Gorn,
Yeah.
and then you do a silicone mold, and yeah.
So before I go, this is actually a great comment, and I want to touch off this. We're doing well on time, so this is a great point. Jay Crabsup writes, I want to see the Gorn in Discovery Season 5. And this is interesting because in Disco Season 3, Book subtly like mentions to Michael that the Gorn are just like destroying sections of subspace in the quadrant. So like they got fucked up by the burn too, so they're probably like trying to like shorten up hunting grounds so there's more people to hunt because they can't travel as much anymore. That would be a cool storyline.
It'd be
You
cool
know
to
what
see
would
them
be
smarter
cool?
like Packlids.
No, like the new collective against the Gorn. Let's
Oh,
put all
God.
the villains like
Yeah.
at each other and see what happens.
Yeah.
Is it a Gorn cube? What
Gorn.
happens?
It's Gorbin
What
time.
happens?
Jeez. We're skirting around. I will say that the Gornsicle was the best part of the trap. Other than that, it was right out of a horror movie. Like it was good. It worked.
Oh, the
Spock-
way it was going nuts on the
Oh
glass
no,
when
no,
they
it was scary as hell. I'm gonna go back a second because I forgot to mention this too. When M'Benga kind of makes fun of Spock for being jumpy, like when that happens, I jumped. I fucking jumped. Like I was scared.
Who would not be jumpy? I had the reaction. I was like,
exactly.
dude, yeah,
I
he's
jumped.
jumpy. Did you like? They're just like, there's blood everywhere, like everywhere,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
everywhere,
fine,
like hands, like
On
hands
his hands.
print and
Yeah.
stuff, like everywhere, and they're like, why are you jumpy?
Um,
What?
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about the Hemmer in the room. The Hemmer in the room. Earlier in the episode, Hemmer, he's working with Uhura in engineering, and he is sprayed to kind of push Uhura out of the way by Gorn poison that we initially think is just, like this nasty, corrosive, kind of like in Alien.
Jurassic Park.
And
Jurassic Park.
Yes,
More Jurassic Park than
more
Alien.
Jurassic Park. Yeah, okay, fair. And we soon learn that this is how the Gorn breed. This is how they reproduce. And
What a
yeah,
boring way to reproduce.
yeah. Like La'an says in Memento Mori, the hosts become breeding sacs. They burst out of meat sacks, and that's how it's done. And as it looks like everybody saved the day, and the away team's about to leave, Hemmer starts feeling like our poor friend Buckley, and he knows what's next, and he makes the ultimate sacrifice. I know that this is the hottest topic of the day, and we'll just get into it. What did we think of Hemmer's sacrifice, Hawk?
As great as this episode was, and that this was my biggest kind of, I know how people are feeling in that, because this is a trope I never thought they'd go back to in that, but they Tasha Yard him. Yeah.
Yep.
It wasn't immediate.
At least Tasha Yar, we had some
Yeah.
episodes
They had a
where
lot
we
of-
got to know
Yeah.
Tasha Yar and her
but
past
the
and
death
so on.
wasn't Tasha Yar went out like a chump. Like it was horrible
know.
what happened to
I
her.
know.
At least Hemmer had a boss death.
But,
Like
I mean, a first season
a
main
first season is Tasha
character,
Yar, though.
yeah, for really like, and you're like, wait, what? It just happens, and it's like, okay, so
Man.
I guess, and I was like, oh, maybe they'll do something in that. Maybe M'Benga will find a way to isolate him, and they can do. No, it's
Put him
like,
in
no.
the transporter buffer.
Yeah, exactly. Put him in. No.
Nope.
No.
So yeah, I know, and it's like, I like this character. They didn't. We had 3 episodes from my count. 3 episodes with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now there's no more story to tell with them in that. So
At least main episodes with him.
and
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to some more, of Hemmer, and I hope Bruce Horrick is moving on to something. The only reason I can think that they do this was, is like, Hemmer and Uhura seem to be developing like this little mentor-y relationship and that, and he was the one who kind of talked her into getting over her fears about putting down roots and like being calling this place home, or making friends. And I think this was a way they kind of, sacrificing him was a way of convincing Uhura that maybe she's needed around here.
So I'm gonna tell you why it's bullshit in several points.
Go on.
Okay. Just like, let's see the plot just by itself. Okay. They have a science team with them, right? They have Kirk, they have Mbenga, they have Chappelle. Like, literally, they're like, there's more science people with them than any other branch, right? And imagine if everybody who had COVID just like jumped to their death, like we had no way to find a cure, find a way to make a vaccine, find anything. You have one of your crew member who's infected. You can put him in the transporter buffer. You can stun him. You can like, I don't know, try stuff to find a way to actually slow down the process. And that like, and magic of science.
Could he not have
you
gone
know?
out into the
One thing.
cold?
No. See, that he was resistant to cold. Also, the transporters didn't work on that planet because of the interference.
No,
in
but
the
they have
atmosphere.
one in the ship. Like they can just transport inside the ship, not like
was there
outside.
did the ship have enough power to do transporters at that point?
They
I
didn't
don't
really
know,
say.
like freeze him like Khan. I don't know, like just like, do something, like try something because you could learn like just one piece that could be interesting. And you know what? He's Andorian. He's resisting to the cold, so at least put him outside
Mhm.
and like
Mhm.
see what's up, see what happens. Like the Gorn don't pop out. Like stay in. Like I study this. I mean, I know it's horrible, but it's very weird that as an engineer, he doesn't have the, hey, you know what? My death will maybe help find a cure, a solution, a
Or fix
poison. Like,
things.
yeah, you know. So that's like, first of all, like a minus, like just for the plot of the things. I understand it's more tragic. It's a horror. Like if you kill a character that people like are more attached to than, you know, Chia and Duke and like whoever they sacrifice on that mission. But they can kill anybody on board because they're all legacy characters, right? And we all know they're alive in TOS. So they were like, yeah, that guy. And then there's a real problem for me, like when you think of Star Trek Strange New World and how they sold their character to the fans. Again, representation matters. Oh, look at that. We have Uhura. We're gonna have Emmer. We're gonna have like, you know, we are having an actor who's legally blind, and you off his character like sees like 9 episodes in when you know that so many fans were like ecstatic about. I'm losing my earpods.
I do think that is a really horrible move on the marketing team's side, because he obviously was not a main character in this show. He was in 3 episodes fully, yet he's in the opening credits. And then someone at Paramount was like, "Oh, let's give him his own trailer. Let's put him in the main titles and let's build him the fuck up." And,
Absolutely.
And I like, and I'm not. This is in no way because I feel people's pain with it and I fully understand it, but I do question whether if that had happened, if they didn't market it that way, if people would feel the same. I do wonder that. I think it's a horrible fucking marketing campaign on Paramount.
I feel like they also did that because, oh, he's the chief engineer. We always have to showcase the chief engineer of the show. But like
Stairs in Discovery was the chief engineer in Discovery for like 3 seasons.
We've seen engineering once in Discovery.
Yeah, right.
But there's also like 2 very high profile Asians on the show that didn't get, you know, trailers or anything. And I was like, what the fuck? Come on, man. They had more screen time than Bruce Horick.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
Kyle and the navigator
Mitchell.
And Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've
Absolutely.
had more screen time. Yep.
I know.
And
But-
so it's very confusing, that choice. So the marketing was poor. I do think that even if the marketing would have been done differently, it's still very interesting for Star Trek to hire actors were diverse and showcase different life experiences, and killing one of them 9 episodes in, it gave me really Dr. Culber murder. And you were like, really? You murdering the gay man? Like, first season?
I mean,
And-
that shit's still inexcusable. Like that's I feel like that's still the bar. Like that, you don't fucking do that shit.
Yeah.
the way
I
they did
had
that.
the same reaction to it. And then my other point why it's bullshit is that I know people are like, yeah, Uhura is choosing for other reasons. Okay, let's reframe this. I like you very much, guys. But imagine my mentor, like somebody that I respect, that helps me, that saw in me what nobody was seeing, like gave me a chance, pumped me up like to do a job. In her dying breath, sacrificing herself for me, tells me, Girafe, go open a Garak themed maid cafe.
I would go
You
to
should
that
do that.
fucking
Yeah.
party.
Do it.
Even if you guys like tell me it's a good idea, I think you should do it.
I do.
I'm gonna do it because she sacrificed herself to me for me, you know, not like because everybody has a good idea. It's gonna totally influence and push my decision. And the thing he says at the end too are very reminiscent to what Michael says to Spock at Inside Street Sorrow. It's like not exactly the same sentence, very clear, very neat. So for me, it's robbing Uhura too of her own agency because we know she's here because of grief. We know she's here because she lost her family and she's losing yet another person. I think it's nice that she has a different reaction to it, that they pushed her to have a different reaction to it, but it's still kind of sad to me that the canon of that character is that she stays in Starfleet because somebody got eaten by a Gorn. Like, and we have something positive in life, please.
He didn't even get eaten. He got spit
No.
on.
And I do think that maybe he survived because he's made like for the cold, so we don't
I
know.
have so
But
many.
he
I'm
fell off
gonna
a
go
cliff.
off on that in a minute.
A cliff.
You go, and I have my fan fiction.
When I
theory.
saw it, like I was texting Hawk when I was watching this. I was like, what a fucking shame. Hemmer was such a cool character that we just got glimpses of. And then to die, I like we were saying, Tasha Yar. Like Tasha Yar had more episodes and focused episodes on her before she died. So it felt more like painful that she died in such a shitty way. Like I like how heroic, I guess, Hemmer died, even though I feel like Girafe said, he could have just stepped outside and waited to see what happened because the Gorn would have died anyway, right?
I kind of thought when I was watching, I kind of thought that they were starting to pop out, and that's when he decided to take the plummet.
I just don't think that there was time for anything to happen. Like he says it immediately. He's like, I may not be able to feel them in my thoughts, but I know my own body, very well. He was at Buckley Point. Like he was literally about to go full Chestburster.
He was going.
Yeah, but that's the plot they write. Like they could have written it differently, you know, and be like, "Hey, let's step out of on the platform and put the force field, you know, and see what happens." There's an ice storm outside, but I'll bet any day on the NR to survive a freaking ice storm.
Yeah, he'd just be like, "Oh, it's a nice little shower."
Yeah, he was
outside.
loving
In
the
Andoria.
Yeah.
When he stepped out through the thing, he's like, it's just like Andoria.
And there was something telling about him being, it's like I'm at home. I was like, oh fuck, something bad's gonna happen to him. And then he died. I was like, fuck, god damn it.
God damn it.
Walking Slowly wrote, the marketing was a bit deceptive. Reminds me a little of the Force Awakens ads, making it seem like Finn was going to be the next Jedi. Not a malicious thing, but not without its negative impact. Yeah.
No, it has a huge negative impact.
Yeah.
Right. Like it does.
And fuck those movies.
I don't think I don't know what else I can say. Like I loved his rapport he built, like his little mentorship he built with Uhura, and to not see that build even more in another season is a shame. Like
I know.
And if they did that just to bring on young Scotty, I'm gonna be double mad.
I hope Scotty doesn't show up.
come
It's too soon to add another legacy character.
I agree. I'm gonna die on my hill and be the only one who disagrees. I thought Hemmer's death was beautiful. But then again, I know that a lot of the people in our collective got attached to the character. We have a lot of like fans of Endorian, so like I feel it, I understand it, but I personally just didn't get attached to it. Like part of the reason that Strange New Worlds for me was always so like why I wanted to do the podcast and like do this show was because like I loved Pike from Disco season 2 and I loved Una, and of course like I grew up with fucking Leonard Nimoy and Spock and like big part of my childhood. So like I'm watching the show for the legacy characters, and I know that there's a lot of question of like how much fan service they should do. So when one of these new characters who I don't know and I haven't had the time to really build a relationship does die, I'm like, I cried. Like, I cried at the end of this episode. It was fucking deep. Like, it was powerful. But I thought it was a beautiful end for a great character. I also just want to say what I don't know if everybody knows yet, and if everybody knows in the chat. Bruce Herrick did a couple of interviews today, and he says that he is not done with Star Trek. He was allowed to say that he's not done. So
he's the new Jeffrey Combs.
He's the new Jeffrey Combs.
And
I hope Jeffrey Combs shows up as Shred.
I'm gonna Giraffe. I know that I kind of hard disagreed with you on the beginning. I'm gonna concede a couple of points that maybe like it tipped the scale for her to stay in Starfleet, but I don't fully still believe that it was 100% that happening, right? Because throughout this episode, from beginning to end, and Hemmer is a huge influence of that. Like, definitely could see that point. You have Pike at the beginning being like, "Listen, no matter what you do, like, you have a home here." Meaning, like, if you graduated, like, she could be like, "Hey, I want to go on the Enterprise," and Pike would be like, "Yeah, done. Like, this is your home. Like, we want you here." Literally right after that, you have Ortega's being like, "Don't like crowds, like, lighten up. Like, this is your home. Like, you're appreciated here." And then before Hemmer dies, Hemmer having a conversation with her about this subject, about staying. So for him to say those things at the end, does it tip it? Yeah, but I think it's a culmination of her crewmates and the people that, you know, she's gotten to work with throughout these 9 episodes that is like, okay, this is where I belong. That being said, it sucks. Like, it definitely sucks. He's a great character. He was fun. The makeup's fucking gorgeous. Bruce Horak is an amazing artist himself. Like, I can't wait to see what his next role is going to be, but I'm not torn up about it. And I know that probably like stings some people, but I'm just like, it's Star Trek. Like, people die. It sucks.
Like Arian, right? On
like what?
On Arian. Like,
yeah, Arian.
Maybe he
like,
just doesn't want makeup anymore.
and then again, like, dude, I never got attached to Arian either because Disco didn't give us a reason to get attached to her. That's a whole different subject about Disco.
Can I quote Hugh here, or quote Q here?
Yes, you can quote Q here.
If you can't take a little bloody nose, maybe you ought to go back home and crawl under your bed. It's not safe out here. It's wondrous, with treasures to satiate desires both subtle and gross, but it's not for the timid.
Indeed. The last thing I'm going to say, this is science fiction. We didn't see a body. Did we see him fall? Yeah.
Off a cliff.
We know that Gorn, like,
with Gorn popping out.
Hey, we didn't see the Gorn pop out. We didn't see a body. We didn't even see body for fucking Duke and the ensigns, and there were no caskets. It's Star Trek. He's still attached to the show.
And to those Gorn.
That, by the way, his funeral sucked. Like, it sucked. It was a bad, like, I was expecting a funeral like, the Wrath of Khan. Like, like them. And again, is a character that people loved, and because the character is great, but 2, the actor was here to bring more diversity, and representation matters. It does. I watched the last Miss Marvel. I'm 39-year-old, and I jumped because I heard my Muslim first name said for the first time in my life on TV, and I was like, "There's a Marvel character with the same name than me. How the fuck is that possible?" I know the death was beautiful. I know it was like nice in the plot, but they got rid of a person that was here representing a huge portion of Star Trek fans that look towards Star Trek for this representation, and I think that's where it hurts. Sure, the character was great, and I would have want to see more of the character, but they kill off great character all the fucking time, right? But I think Strange New World lost something in matter of representation and diversity by not having Bruce Horak on the set anymore.
Yeah. My friend is
yeah, go ahead.
My friend is a blind gamer, and he's also a fan of Star Trek. And when he saw that Bruce Horrick was on the show, he was so elated of having someone, because you never see like main characters represented like that. And he was so happy. I didn't talk to him about this episode today. I don't know if he's seen it, but I can only imagine how heartbroken he is.
And and they managed to make his funeral about freaking Spock. And like Chapel was officially, I call her the emotional support nurse. Like she's here to do the emotional support, like the Vulcan pet.
She's Troy.
Huh?
She's Troy. She's being Troy.
What?
She's the
Troy.
Oh,
Counselor
yeah,
Troy.
Troy. Yeah, absolutely, Counselor Troy. And it's just like, dude, can we not make everything about? And listen, I have a giant cutout of Spock right here, and I'm gonna say it. Can we not make everything about Spock? Can we just for a minute honor like the guys who just died and not make it about Spock giving a hug to Chapel?
I agree with that.
Like
Another
episode, I don't know, another moment next time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even still, I kind of did enjoy watching him put whole dents in the bulkhead.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Anything else on our dearly departed Hemmer?
If they don't bring another Andorian on like Shran I don't want to replace him.
We were joking about that earlier.
But Jeffrey Combs
that's
hasn't shown
the
up yet. It
spoiler
makes me
alert.
sad.
Yeah.
I
That's
just
the hot
rewatched
take.
a bit of like just rewatched the Andorian incident.
Mhm.
Bring
final
it
thoughts.
on.
Final thoughts. Permission to speak freely. Anything that we may have. Oh shit! My headphones. Fuck. Shit. Fuck.
Now's the time. Take it over.
Now's the time.
Take over.
Take it over. Pirate Radio Cast. There we go. Oh fuck. I hate this thing. Anything that you or I or any of you may have missed that you want to talk about real quick, Hawk?
Hawk, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of anything we haven't already.
Well, if someone has something, just speak up now. And if you
Go, Giraffe.
yeah, we won't go out. We'll go out.
I just hope that they're not gonna kill another person in the finale. Because usually it's finale stuff, guys.
Yep.
Like to off somebody important, it's like finale stuff. So
Well, I think they've gotten that out of the way.
Giraffe,
They
you're
wouldn't do
being
it.
a tease.
Oh,
They killed the whole.
Being a
They all
tease.
die.
You're
Go to a
being
different
teased.
universe. I have 2 questions. Where did the little kid and the blue guy come from? Did they rescue them somewhere
yeah, they found them marooned on the planet.
and not
Oh,
frozen?
and Lon is leaving with the kid. That they having like a buddy cop comedy,
get
like
that.
space,
Short
and
track.
like just
Short
out.
track.
Short track. Short track.
Short tracks are back.
No. That would make a good
They're never
short
gonna
track.
come back, but we could dream.
okay, I was like-
we can dream.
I do have to say one thing. Every time they bring an Expanse actor on this show, it's like very sad. Like the little girl was in the last season of Expanse, and her little brother was the Battery a couple episodes
Oh
ago.
my God, you're
So-
right.
So
Yep.
this
The
family is
creepy
tragic.
kids.
yep.
That poor tragic family on Star Trek.
I was
They're
asking.
the
I
creepy kids.
Yeah.
I was asking Eric if they come as a set.
They come as a set.
Yeah,
I'm
the one with the creepy dogs. Ah,
gonna
The
read
strange dogs.
I'm gonna read a comment real quick on Twitch from NYRLite, and I want to talk to you guys about it because I think it's a good point and something also that goes back to what Jesse James Keitel said a few weeks ago when she was on Strange New Worlds. I realize diversity is important, but I also don't want characters to get plot armor because of it. As mentioned earlier, the presence of legacy characters limits how many people can be killed. And what I want to mention about Jesse James Keitel, because there was there's a discussion a few weeks ago. Well, is this another trope of like, well, why is the trans actor being a bad guy? And Jesse James Keitel made a great tweet about saying, hey, like, I'm playing a bad guy. I want to play a bad guy, and I think like this is an awesome role. And this shows that like LGBTQ members, and it doesn't matter if it's LGBTQ, black, brown, Asian, doesn't matter. Like we can play these same characters that white people have gotten to play forever and do it justice and maybe even do it better. So what do you guys think about that statement?
Yeah, people love like villains. You know, it's like we love a Goldicott in Star Trek.
well, I think it's like they're like, what was the name? Captain Angel. They were not a villain because they were non-binary. The character is non-binary, I think, right?
Yes, correct.
It had nothing to do with the character, like nothing to do with the character. So that's that's not irrelevant. You know what I mean? It just the character is not a villain because of that. The character is a villain because
Right.
they are assholes, and that's all.
And writing, yeah.
And I don't think it's not a question of plot armor. I think it's a question of not letting the character develop. That's my problem with Hammer.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
that it's episode 9, and he was advertised as one of the main cast.
Yep.
And I have problem with Strange New World on this because we didn't see Una. Like, where's Una? And she's advertised as one of the top 3 characters.
She's number 1. She should be one of the top characters, right?
Agreed.
And even
Yeah.
on how the show is promoted, she's always last. Look at the video for the costume they did. She's one of the last person on the video. So I do think that some actors have better agents than others. Good for them. But then the way they advertise the top trio, what Stranger World is giving us, is very different than what has been advertised. So at least give a full episode about Hammer. Make him a legacy character for the next generations of Star Trek. So they can build out of him. And
Which
I
is
think
what
the
we've been
problem is-
complaining about with Discovery forever. That's a great point.
Absolutely. And I don't think it's a question of plot armor. It's just a question, give that character enough flesh so it can live on in books, in other things, in fans' mind before killing him off.
Yeah.
Maybe wait a finale
Yeah.
to kill him off. At
Yeah.
least.
He needed time to grow. Yeah, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people said, like, had this been like season 2, episode 9, it would have been a completely different.
I
Absolutely.
would have been bawling harder than, just like the,
Yeah.
man, I sad.
And we know we're going to see Captain Angel again.
Yep.
For example.
Oh,
So
I just want to say too, Galaxy Star Queen says that maybe like people are like, and maybe she herself is overreacting about him. No one's overreacting. It's listen, like I get obsessed with fucking characters, dude. When they
I read fan fiction.
dude, when they killed Starbuck in Battlestar, sorry if that's a spoiler, but like you've had mad time to watch that show.
Was that 30
Yeah, I
years
went
ago?
there.
Was that 20 years
No,
ago?
it's still like 15 years
Like
ago at this point. Like I was fucking furious. Like I get attached to characters all the time. Like I get it. There's no one at fault here. Like
Hey, I'm opening a
everybody has their own
Garak
opinion.
themed maid
Sure,
cafe.
and I
so.
can't wait to fucking go. to
Maybe
that. So
Hammer comes back as an
one's-
angel.
No one is overreacting.
Spoilers, Erik. Spoilers.
Everyone's seen
Everybody
Battlestar.
dies. Everybody dies. Any other final thoughts before we get into our crew member of the week? Good. Crew member of the week, Erik.
Hammer. Yeah.
Treff.
Or Lon.
Hammer. Yeah. Hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Andorian who blew up the warp core.
the Orion. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Orion
Orion,
who blew up
yeah.
the warp core. That
Yep.
dude.
Yep.
The die-hard kamikaze dude.
He's really
They
the
should
crew
have showed
member
a
of the
video
week,
of
right?
him on the like
just
the
like-
display.
All right.
God
Oh
damn
my
it!
God.
Warp particles.
Yeah.
For me, it is Lieutenant Duke. No, I'm kidding.
Baby Gorn number 2.
Number 3, he did the first kill.
Oh,
Baby Gornsicle.
Oh,
Oh,
delicious.
yum. Yum. Sorry, Hawk. Go ahead.
I did.
Oh, did you say Hammer? Sorry.
Hammer.
Listen, had Hammer not died in this episode, I probably would have been said Chapel for being the smartest person in the fucking room and putting herself in a force field, right?
Yeah.
But like, because like no one ever does the smart thing in horror movies, and the blonde does the smart thing in a horror episode. Like, who would have thunk? No, it's Hammer. His death was beautiful. Do I still want him around? Yes. Was it a beautiful moment? Absolutely. Hammer all the way. I'm not even gonna read. Everybody said Hammer on the chat, as they should. Good answer. Let's we're gonna do the red shirt counter because why not? Did I put it here? Is the question?
Do we count
Yeah.
the 90 crew member of the Peregrine
We
in
are
it
not.
or not?
We are not doing that. But here is the red shirt counter.
You're my new chief. Go put on the red shirt.
I feel like people are gonna put all their phasers on kill if I say this, but do we put Hammer in the red shirt?
Remember, he's not a red shirt.
He's not a red
He's
We
shirt.
not
know
a
him
red
from
shirt.
other episode.
He's a main character. So technically, the
Yeah,
red
and
shirt
Duke?
counter
Yes.
should be at 9. So the cadet and the recently promoted Duke of Nothing.
Oh.
His first day. His first day got eaten alive.
Oh man. So yeah.
You
So
need
9. We're
to
not putting
read-
Hammer. We're not.
You
Putting
need to read the book Red Shirts. You need
I
to
will.
read that
It'll
book.
it'll happen.
What
It'll
book
eventually
do we need to read, Giraffe?
Red Shirts.
I know
Red
it's been an
shirts.
episode
Red
since you've said
shirts.
it.
Red Shirts. Read it. I need somebody to talk about it with me.
Who's it by again? Sorry.
I
Brent
don't
Spiner,
remember.
right? Oh no, not Brent
No,
Spiner.
no, no,
that's
no,
a different
no, no.
book.
I'm gonna look at it right now.
While
Yeah.
we're doing that, we're gonna rate this episode out of 10 baby Gornsicles. Hawk.
I'm
John
gonna go.
Scalzi.
John
John
Scalzi.
Scalzi. I am gonna go. God, I'm gonna go a 9 out of 10 on that, just purely for like the direction, writing, everything. It looked great. I loved it. It was a great episode, despite Hammer dying. I don't know why they did that. I want Bruce Horrick back on the series, and obviously he's going to be the Jeffrey Combs, of the coming season. So
Goddamn right.
going 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna go 7 out of 10. 1, nobody runs that fast. 2, why did you off Hammer? 3, why did the funeral was about somebody else? 7 out of 10.
Nice.
I'm gonna go 8.5 because we got the mustache back and little racist Hammer dying. 8.5.
8.5. Over on Twitch, we have a 4 out of 10 wasted potentials from MC Frodis. Jay Crabs Out gives it a 10 out of 10. Wow. Galaxy Star Queen, 6 out of 10. I'll keep reading them as they come out. I'm just going to go with Hawk and also say 9 out of 10. I loved this episode. I thought it was one of the best of the season. Really good. This show is so fucking good.
I like that they every time they have something that's a writer that is writing on one topic, they've let them continue that thread on a different episode. Like that's
Yes.
great for the showrunners
that's
to do.
really cool.
Like really
I mean,
smart.
there's a great plot. It's a good
Yeah.
horror episode, but like they made choices for the overarching series that are like, dude, what?
Wayner 56 gives it an 8. NYR gives it a 9. Riftwood 8.66. Wow, that is very specific, sir.
Wow.
Haven, I have to split my rating. If Hammer actually died and doesn't return, it's a 5. But if he comes back, it'll be a 7.
I hope he doesn't come
no
back.
No one's ever dead in Star Trek. And see, I was saying that
He's
too.
with the
Don't
koala.
come back. If he's dead, stay dead.
Mm-hmm.
Stay dead. I don't like deaths that
Yeah.
are.
I
we
hope
talked
they
about
actually
this.
at least went and grab his body for science and like find a cure or something. I'm
Right.
like set on this. I don't understand why they don't find a Gorn poison. You imagine?
Yeah.
Find a Gorn poison, a Gorn
Gorn-
like vaccine,
Antidote.
an antidote or a vaccine. If
Antidote.
you have it
Yeah.
and you get sprayed, they can't reproduce, and then they're all dead.
Ooh, that's very
Yeah.
Doctor what's her face from Orville creating that virus in episode 2. A lot of
Oh,
Orville
yeah, that's true.
references.
Yeah.
All right, let's rate this one out. Oh, we did the rating. Sorry, I'm going back in time into the episode because we all want to bring Hammer back. Let's get into the subspace to pull, and I don't have all my. I redid my buttons. It's the subspace to pull and mailbag.
Shipwide, Cadet Aurora.
Aye, sir.
Who's reading the poll?
I'll do it.
All right.
All right, subspace to poll. 48% said bloody good time. I don't know why I said it like that.
That was very Kano of you.
5% said too scary, but good. 9% said need a blankie and some tissues. 38% said, what the hell? Why? I assume the last one was a cry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and cry and anger, like both. Like,
Why?
what the fuck?
Why?
Yeah, it's like 47%, huh?
Yep.
Mhm.
Half.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
very dividing.
I feel like the 38%.
This was, I think, the most divisive episode of the season.
I think the people were really like not expecting the Hammer thing. Like that 38% were people like, what the fuck? How did
Yeah.
that happen?
Let's get into some mailbag. There is a lot of it. Hawk, take us off with Galaxy Star Queens, please.
So Galaxy Star Queen 77 wrote, I thought the plot was good, but by far this was my least favorite episode. The way Hemmer just died was something I wasn't ready for it at all. And I think it was too soon. One thing I did chuckle at was when Pike did call Hemmer Hem for short, though. And of course, it's the Gorn. Just why?
Nice.
Why?
Yum Pod. Yum Pod wrote, I also enjoyed the film Aliens 1986.
Best birth year, what?
It's not as it's younger than me, but I really didn't need to see it redone on Strange New Worlds. These entered the realm of my least favorite sci-fi content, which is walking around in dark hallways with a torch waiting for something to happen. I didn't care for it in the Orville a few weeks ago, and the same applies here. It's true that the Strange New World and the Orville have been like really
I
parallel.
love dark hallway sci-fi horror. Like,
Very,
The
very
flickering
parallel.
light. Oh man,
yeah,
yes.
so
Dead
good.
Space.
Dead Space. Yeah.
Oh.
Where does one even begin with a Hammer? I'll keep it civil and say that it made me really appreciate that we at least got some time with Tasha Yar before her death.
Oh damn.
Can't say the same for Hammer. We will leave on as a character. The fans will create better material for it in the future. Better material for in the future. Sorry. Can't wait for season 2, in which we follow Sam Kirk's journey to resurrect Hammer, with his first step being to steal a starship from Pike's lover that appeared in the first episode.
Oh,
I would watch
Hey.
that.
Bring on the Genesis.
Damn.
Let's go.
Cassie wrote, turning Sam Kirk into a space racist was the first in a series of baffling bad plot and character decisions that, despite its strong start, have made this episode by far my least favorite of the season. Killing off Hemmer, the first main Andorian in Trek history, without bothering to give him an episode of development was shocking, and not in a good way. Using his funeral to further develop the Spock and Chapel subplot made me go from ambivalent about their romantic undertones in Strange New to actively hating them. There was a lot to love in this episode. The horror elements were all well done, the alien makeup was lovely, and we got to see character development from several members of the crew, but it didn't outweigh the bad. This is the first week of Strange New Worlds I've walked away disappointed.
all right. MC wrote, I enjoyed the idea of this episode much more than the execution. I have no problem with Star Trek going horror movie, but I didn't like the character beats in this for anyone. Spock's what is feeling, even after Discovery season 2. Sam Kirk channeling his Kelvin brother, Uhura only deciding her path because of Hemmer's sacrifice. Chapel playing emotion backpack yet again. Hemmer's death didn't have the right impact because I've been hungry for an episode about him, and now I feel robbed. R.I.P. Hemmer joining the list of characters gone too soon that'll be in regular rotation in my fanfic writing. Hell yes.
Hiker Pike wrote, this was a paint-by-numbers horror plot. It had its moments for sure, but it's my least favorite episode of this season. It was a little too much on the nose as a homage to Aliens and telegraphed its plot points. We knew Duke and Kaya were goners from the
Chia.
start.
Well, wasn't that the
Yeah.
point? Like, we gotta
Yeah.
have some red shirts in Strange New Worlds, right?
I mean, I
Right?
kind of like it's Star Trek. Like
Yeah,
it's Star
exactly.
it's Star Trek.
It's
Some
Star
people
Trek.
are gonna get off and be like, oh, you're the new guy. Welcome on the ship. Dead. Like
Welcome, new cadet number 5.
Oh, killing off Hemmer so soon is a big mistake in my book, especially if they bring in Scotty. He was by far the breakout new character for me, and his death left me cold. Ah, pun.
Oh, too
and no
soon.
Gorn.
Reacting with anger at such a waste. If they plan to one by one ditch the new S&W crew to slowly bring in TOS characters, it will piss me off. That's not going to happen.
I hope not.
It's not. Come on.
So
I wouldn't bet on that.
finish it and we'll talk about it before we go on to the next one real quick.
Okay. This especially makes me worry for Ortegas, as she has not been explored yet. I worry the moment they do, she's ditched for some cheap emotional ploy and to bring in Sulu.
So this is seven years more.
I thought they said 10.
Before 10, so 7
It's
to 10
10 years.
Yeah.
before Kirk takes the helm. a lot of Kirk's crew are people that he's already familiar with, right? Like, I'm trying to. I don't see it being Scotty. And listen, if I'm wrong, I will be in outrage with the rest of you. As much as I said earlier, go ahead.
Do you think they're gonna bring a new character?
No, I don't think they're going to bring in a new character. I just don't think that the chief engineer is going to be a focus. Obviously, Star Trek has gone like away from focusing on goddamn fucking Alexa. Turn on the living room lights. I'm blind. Oh, that was a bad. I didn't mean it like that. No pun intended. Alexa, turn on the living room lights. I know. I just don't want anybody to think I was doing that on purpose. But I lost my train of thought because of fucking lights.
New characters.
No, I don't think that. I think that like it's going to be like an engineering rotation. Dude, there's fan service and there's fan service. As much as I said earlier that like I'm watching the show for the legacy characters, I don't need fucking Scotty, Bones, and Sulu on this ship yet. If it happens in like season 6 or 7, sure, I get it. But like not in season 2. I personally
because Pike's accident is in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just personally don't think it's gonna happen.
But Sulu is super young. So I was
that too.
But Scotty is not.
True. Listen, if it's a Scotty and like that's it, fine. But let's not fucking go over.
Please no.
Yeah, and I don't need Scotty. No. I don't.
Like I wouldn't mind seeing them in the universe,
right?
But not like every fucking season we get the new person.
I've
like
said.
That,
I want an Ortega Sulu Detmer
right. That would be
like
awesome.
Competition in the academy because they were all in the academy at the same time.
Oh my God.
I could see something that could be cool theoretically if like maybe like Ortega's training Sulu, like that's a fucking cool thing, maybe like right
on the rotation.
Yeah, like but like don't fucking like replace her. I don't think it's gonna happen. I get the worry, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Giraffe, you're up with Takako's.
Takako wrote, "Horror is not my genre. Nightmares." And I don't watch much of it. So perhaps my ignorance of the genre and its conventions enabled me to enjoy the story. I love horror and I like the horror part of the story. I did cover my eyes for parts of it, though. I was disappointed that Hammer was killed off before we got to know him better. His character seemed to exist for the development of other characters, not his own character.
Haven wrote, I'm not a fan of the horror genre, but I feel like it is a genre that actually would fit perfectly in line with what we know about the Gorn and Pike's tragedy. Were there bad decisions made? Yes. Were there changes I would like to make if I was showrunner? Also yes. But Anson Mount said in July 2021 on Twitter, they finished filming season 1, so there was no way to know that the audience would love Hammer as much as we do with as little screen time as we got with him. That being said, I hope Bruce Horak knows that we love him, and I personally hope we find a way to bring him back to Star Trek.
And he is.
Actually, it's a very good point. The fact that they are shooting like so many seasons of Strange New World at the same time.
Yep.
It means that they cannot course direct at all. When Discovery did course direct several times, depending on what people have said, and you see how the show has evolved, and you've seen then in like the Next Generation, we saw it in Voyager, like people having opinions about the show are influencing the showrunner. I don't know now that they're 3 season in filming.
Yeah.
I think they have I think I was speaking with Nami. I don't think that this is like insider information. I think that some of the actors have posted too. I think they have like one more episode to shoot of season 2.
They said 2 was done in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Yeah. No, I agree with you, and I think it's also really important to remember too how much COVID fucked up the production of this show. Mm-hmm. I think Akiva Goldsman said initially, like they were still building the sets up until episode 10. Like they shot the pilot, I think like months removed from each other. Like they finished it, like they did parts of it at the beginning and parts of the pilot at the end. Like COVID fucked everything up.
And the rules in Canada for COVID filming are extremely tight, like incredibly crazy.
Well, you see it in Discovery season 4, right? Like scenes where you see they're clearly alone.
Fucking
talking to nobody.
Jet Reno.
Yeah. And you're like, there's nobody in the room with you right now. We know it. Talking alone. We're talking by yourself.
I think it's you, right? Yep.
Yeah. J. Crapsap wrote, I enjoyed these episodes. Mostly it was just the right amount of horror and suspense for me. I wish they would have done Hammer better.
Absolutely.
I said Haven, so it should have been you, Julian.
Oh, it should have been me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck.
Well, that's great because get Shatterhand.
I know, it's a
because
long-
there's a lot of paragraphs, and we don't want
Dress
to
like,
be reading Rainbow with Girafe.
Yes.
So
I always want reading Rainbow with Giraffe. Fuck off. Love you. Dear Hemmer, we hardly knew ye. This is from Shatterhand, sorry. Calling this episode quote-unquote divisive seems like an understatement. That's true. But while I may not agree with some opinions from my fine colleagues here at Strange New Pod, I respect them as much as I respect the people who presented them. I enjoyed the suspense and horror elements of this episode, and it was seasoned with a fair mixture of strong and surprising character moments. The biggest shock was the tragic fate of Chief Engineer Hemmer. I choose to set aside my opinion of that storytelling decision and wish to praise Bruce Herrick for his wonderful performance in the role, and I hope we'll see him again soon elsewhere in the final frontier. One more episode awaits us this season, and I look eagerly forward to it. Y'all don't
and
even
you
know.
should.
Y'all don't even
And
know.
you should.
Y'all don't even know.
Please DM me when you're watching the finale next week, and guesstimate where I lost my mind. Where the show broke my mind. Like just like
27 minutes.
I'm gonna
minute.
I'm gonna give this
DM me
tidbit.
that.
I did that because Giraffe said the same thing to me, and I guessed wrong at first.
You guessed wrong.
It was the second
Yeah.
thing I guessed right.
It was the second thing.
No spoilers here. Back to you, Hawk, with I believe Jesco's.
Yeah, Jesco wrote, I'm not a big fan of the invisible threat type of plot, but I really did really enjoy their mousetrap style solution to the problem. My compliments are that the sets were well dressed, all the acting on point, and the effects were great. With that being said, Hammer deserved better. But I also like to say that there is a beauty in that he was able to die in the way he wished, knowing that his whole life had been filled with the love he shared with his crewmates and that they will all continue to live and love. Just like Andoria.
That line.
I know, isn't just referring to the planet. His crew is his home too. Not every red shirt gets such a send-off. He's not a red shirt. He was a crew member.
He's an engineer. Red shirt is another thing. It's another thing for red shirts. It's can be a blue shirt and be a red shirt.
Exactly. Duke was wearing it.
Is Boimler a red shirt?
Boiler has red shirt energy.
Yeah.
He has red shirt like, flair.
Very glad to know that Bruce will be returning to Trek, but it's sad to see such an endearing character of his gone almost as quickly as he was brought to life. However, I'm sure us fans will keep him alive in our creative endeavors for the foreseeable future. This is the first episode I did not care for. 4 out of 10 systems online.
Take us home, Giraffe.
I feel like Jack
Colleen.
Quaid has red shirt energy just in general.
Just
Yeah, because in the boys, his character
Yeah.
Huey has red shirt energy too.
And when he was in Scream, also.
Yeah,
I never saw
that
it.
movie
True.
sucked. Sorry. Sorry.
Colin D wrote, first, I normally get very caught up in a story and don't notice the music. I tried to notice it today as best I could. Nami hit it out of the park.
Mhm.
True, the music was scary
Always and forever.
AF. She had me just wide-eyed and scared shitless. Second, the direction and lighting, all very well done to create such a scary edge of your seat story. All that being said, really? Seriously? Give us so little time to get to know this excellent character and kill him off? When he said to fix what is broken, I had a feeling. It felt like that was just too specific. I felt cheated and sad and angry at the writer's room. Damn. Character of the show, Lan, Uhura, Hammer. 6 out of 10. To fix what is broken and he doesn't let them fix him.
You know what I really enjoyed?
Irony.
I enjoyed
What?
that as soon as you said that. Think about Nami. She wrote in the chat on Twitch.
Nami's a fucking Romulan spy in the chat every single week. She just low-key lurks until something's said about her. She's like, ooh, me, music.
My
yeah.
turn, yes.
Hey, Nami, if you want to take it a step further, give us a release date for that score, huh? please. Thank you.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
please.
Yeah, because we want it now. Like we wanted it yesterday.
Yeah.
We're being serious.
Although I don't know if I'll be listening to this episode as much. I'm
gonna listen
at
to
night.
it
I'm
all.
just like,
Terrifying.
Yeah.
We
Terrifying.
love you, Nami, so much.
Shall I do Wayner?
You should do Wayner. Yes,
I
please.
will
thought
do.
that Collins was the last one. That's my fault. Go
That's
ahead.
okay. I'll bring it home.
Bring it home.
Like Nami does in the chat.
Yeah.
Wayner wrote, sometimes horror can be gratuitous and just there for the shock value, but this was done well. While Hemmer's death was sad, it was an honorable death. He will live on in Stovokor. Stovokor. Yeah. That's well said. Well said.
That was well said. Speaking of well said, it is the finale of Strange New World Season 1 next week. And we saved one of our favorite podcasts for last because we've been celebrating like all our favorite people having guests on this show. And we will be joined in the finale for just what has been an incredible season by our good friends, the Duras sisters, to bring this one home. It's going to be so much fun. The Duras sisters join us for the finale next week. Other than that, we are doing a week-long countdown in the Watch Along channel on our Discord. We are starting tonight, directly following this pod. We are going to be watching the Flying Pancakes episode, Death by Pancake.
Flying murder pancake.
Sorry, Flying Murder Pancake, Operation Annihilate, the season 1 finale of the original
Rest in
series.
peace, mustache.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
That is gonna do it for this one. It has been an absolute pleasure. I do want to quickly end by saying I love our collective so much. I want to thank everybody for their thoughts and everything they said in the chat today. Everybody's got such great opinions, such great takes. We do this for you. We love putting the show on every week. It's awesome. So we will see you for the finale, like Girafe said, and I think I said because Erik and Hawk haven't watched it yet. Y'all don't even know. It's next week. Here we go. Finale time.
Broke my mind. Broke it.
Broke our minds.
Still broke it.
I
We will
wanted to go to
see.
bed tonight.
He's not going to bed tonight. For Hawk, for Girafe, for Erik, I'm Julian. I say live long and prosper. Majram, and good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.